Hello, everyone, and welcome to Friday's Acting Lab. Today we are going to talk about the basic object exercise. The basic object exercise is a way to create character and develop action. Just to start with a little quote from Benicio del Toro. By doing character analysis and research, you feel secure in what you are playing. The audience may not see what you did, but they see the confidence and security. So what is the basic object exercise? The basic object exercise recreates behavior which leads to the achievement of a simple objective. This is something that you can do on your own, at home, to create work to bring to class, to bring to rehearsal, and to bring to your performance. The basic object exercise is 2 minutes of a mundane activity that explores the details of character and action. The basic object exercise begins with choosing an objective that doesn't involve anyone else. This is a solo exercise, not a scene. All right. Examples are brushing your teeth, making coffee, waking up, doing your hair, doing your homework. The exercise is done in 2 parts. The first is character analysis. The second is the object exercise. In the character analysis, there are questions that explore the background and given circumstances. Who am I? What time is it? Etc. The exercise itself is 2 minutes of rehearsed action in pursuit of a basic objective: brushing your teeth, waking up, leaving the house. So let's talk about the big picture and what this basic object exercise means for you in terms of this class. Each of you will perform a basic object exercise of a simple moment from your life. The way you'll do this is you'll pick a moment, you'll write a character analysis of that moment, you will explore your actions and take notes while you're doing this. You will practice and refine your actions, which is why it's important to take notes. And lastly, you'll perform your basic object exercise for the class. But first, we're just going to start with the character analysis. Before we do that, I want to talk about some definitions. The first is objective. What is an objective? In terms of this exercise, we're talking about simple objectives. An objective is something you need to do. Eventually, this will lead to larger, more complex choices. A simple objective is something like needing to wake up. An example of a complex objective would be Hamlet's needing to find his father's killer. Objectives begin with the phrase I want, like I want to brush my teeth. I want to wait for the bus. We can talk about variations on the word want, such as I need, but we're going to start simply with I want. We always use the first person for this exercise. Statements like I want, I need. It's pretty obvious in this particular exercise on yourself, but as we get into characters, when you're playing Hamlet, you would speak, I want to find my father's killer. Okay. This is a great quote from Kurt Vonnegut, who's a science fiction writer, that just is really always sticks out with me. Every character should want, even if it's only a glass of water. This really plays into the idea of simple objectives, especially when it comes to exploration. That's why I thought this quote was good to share. The next definition is an obstacle. What is an obstacle? An obstacle is what keeps you from achieving your objective. It's what you need to overcome. For example, objective: I want to brush my teeth. Obstacle: I am not a morning person. What is a tactic? Tactics are the actions you take to overcome your obstacle to achieve your objective. For example, objective, I want to brush my teeth. Obstacle, I'm not a morning person. Tactics, I play music, I sing, I use mouthwash to wake me up. Always have at least 3 active tactics to explore. Give yourself options. Here's another quote from Dame Maggie Smith, who you might recognize from Harry Potter. And she said, the best advice I ever got when a director said to me, it's not how you do it, it's why. Now, this the character and the basic object exercise actually combines both those two. But in order to know how you do it, you need to know why first. Acting is a lot of psychoanalysis, and you're going to do a lot of psychoanalysis on yourself, and you're going to do a lot of psychoanalysis on your characters. So get used to it. Let's talk about the character analysis. This character analysis, this writing exercise, leads to in-depth exploration of character. We make observations and judgments on your circumstances. For example, I like that, I hate that, it makes me feel, etc. Simply stating the facts of the scene, the given circumstances, is not enough. You want to be able to do both. You need to state the given circumstances or the facts, like I am Hamlet, let me stick to my own example. The given circumstances for me would be that I'm a teacher, it's morning before class, facts, right? I have to get up to go to work. And then observations and judgments on your circumstances. For example, I like teaching. It makes me really happy, which is why teaching makes getting up easier. See what I mean? The first 4 questions, there's 7 questions. The first 4 questions are the setup, the background, and the given circumstances as they relate to the scene. The last 3 questions relate to the objective of the character. And here are the 7 questions. Just to explain, I took out the 5th one in Uta Hagen's book, Given Circumstances, because I find that given circumstances are so often included in these first 4 questions. So there's 7 questions in defining your character analysis. They are, who am I? What time is it? Where am I? What are my relationships? What do I want? What's in my way? And how do I get what I want? Okay. The first 4, who am I? What time is it? Where am I? What are my relationships? These go to your given circumstances and your observation and analysis on your character. The last 3, what do I want? What's in my way? How do I get what I want? Are all related to your objective. Okay? So let's go through each of these questions one at a time. First, who am I? Describe yourselves in about 250 words. What makes you tick? Where did you come from? What makes you who you are? Why and how do you feel about it? Now remember, for this exercise, we're speaking about ourselves, so I will always refer to myself as David. However, if we were to answer this question as a character, I'll use Hamlet again as an example, I would describe myself, being Hamlet, what makes me tick? Where did I come from? Who are the queen and the king? Things like that. Okay, and you would again always speak from a first person. I am. These are the things about me, etc. For example, this is how I would answer a basic object exercise about waking up in the morning. Who am I? I am David. I'm 45 years old. I'm a teacher and I love teaching. I just wish it wasn't so early. My upbeat nature can be hard to maintain, but I keep trying. So in this moment, I've given my given circumstances, that I'm 45 years old, my name, that I'm a teacher, and that I have an upbeat nature. My observations are that I love teaching. I wish it wasn't so early, and that I keep trying. Okay? Next question is, what time is it? How does the time relate to you? And we're not just talking about clock time, we're talking about time of day, we're talking about time of year, we're talking about the time of your life. All right? It's not just clock and calendar. And how does time affect your actions? We act differently in the morning than we do in the afternoon or in the evening. We act differently when we're older. We act differently when you're younger. Okay? Consider the time of your life, and then how do you feel about these things? How do you feel about being old or young? How do you feel about the time that it is? Okay, not just that it is the time. For example, this is how I would answer what time is it for a basic object exercise on getting up. I have to get up early, but I'm not a morning person. But if I don't get up, I can't go to class, I can't pay the bills. I feel like I should be out enjoying life, but I have to do this now. Little caveat here. I am a morning person. I do get up regularly. This is just my example. Okay. Next, where am I? Describe the room or location you are in. Think locally, micro, and globally, macro. How does it make you feel? How does it affect your behavior? Pick out something special about the room. All right. Get specific. For example, I'm in my bed. I love my bed. It makes me happy. I just wish it was my own house. But my pillow takes it all away. I wish that the other people in the house wouldn't make noise to wake me up. Okay? So this talks about, so clearly I'm in my room. I'm in my bed. I've made the observation that it makes me happy being in my bed. I've made the observation that I don't live, the fact that I don't live with myself, the observation, or that I don't live by myself, the observation that I wish I did live by myself. These are all sort of the details, and then something like my pillow takes it all away. I clearly have a strong connection with happiness in my pillow. And lastly, in the given circumstances section is, what are my relationships? So observe the animate and inanimate relationships to help shape this answer. What is your relationship to those people around you? And what about the things around you? What is important? What affects you? Uh, for an example here, I'm not a morning person. My alarm clock is not my best friend. The noise from other people wakes me up before my alarm. So I've talked about animate things, inanimate things. I could also talk about my pillow in this section. I would probably talk about my bed. These are just short examples that you need to expand upon as we go forward. Okay. Next, we're going to get on. Next, we're going to get on to objectives, obstacles, and tactics. So, what do I want? Is the question you need to ask yourself. Your objective. The answer is, I want blank, or I will die. I know this or I will die seems like a wild addition. This is something that we're going to use more when we get into specific character analysis, like for a monologue, for a character from a play. This or I will die will become much more important. When it comes to the simple objective, we're not so much using the or I will die, but I wanted to introduce that because if our characters don't complete our objectives or have our objectives, they will not exist. That's why I always add this in there. Also, use a thesaurus. Avoid generic objectives. I want to be happy. I want to be in love. Get more specific. I want to discover joy. I want to romance the other person. All right. Here's an example going back to the getting out of bed example. I want to get out of bed or I will die. Okay. if I don't, like I said, if I don't get out of bed, I won't be able to get ready. I won't be able to go to class. I won't be able to make money. I won't be able to pay my bills or food, and eventually I will die. Okay. The next the next question is, what's in my way? The obstacle. This is what you have to overcome to achieve your objective. This can be real, a door, a bed, or conceptual, idiocy or hatred. An example of this is, I'm not a morning person, so getting up early to teach is not easy. And again, continue to expand on this. These are not one sentence answers, except for maybe your objective, but even then you can always find more information to write about. The more you write now, the more you write here, the more discoveries and action you will be able to create in the next part of the basic object exercises, which is the physical action. Okay, give yourself as much fodder to work with. Okay, and then the last question is, how do I get what I want? The tactics. You want to have at least 3 actions in your pursuit of your objective. Okay, and usually they sort of build. Um, for example, let me get down here. For example, in order to wake up, I set 3 alarms. The last alarm is across the room, so I have to get up to turn it off. Another tactic I use to get out of bed is, as soon as I get out of bed, I stretch. It sort of wakes me up. Um, and then we'll sort of always build, right? But if you have these at least 3, you can have more. In fact, I do. I sigh. I have to sometimes talk myself into getting out of bed, etc. You're gonna have more than just 3, but 3 is a great start. So those are the 7 questions that are basis of your character analysis. So what's next? You need to pick a moment and write a character analysis of yourself. Okay, so pick that moment of tying your shoes, trying to get out the door, or excuse me, putting your shoes on, trying to get out the door, making coffee, waking up, starting your homework. If you need some suggestions, I can give you more. We can talk about it on Monday. All right. You always want, as you write this, you always want to speak in I statements. I am David. I am a teacher. Answer these 7 questions in detail. These are not one-word answers, and these are not one-sentence answers. As I said, the more you start to explore and investigate now, the easier it will be later. This is a formal writing assignment. Use full sentences, paragraphs, and proper grammar. Proofread your work. The analysis must be 2 full pages in length at minimum. And then next slide, I will go over some tips on filling out your writing. But this idea of writing this much, it may seem like a lot, really isn't, but it may seem like overwhelming. It will get easier to write this stuff, and we will write at least 2 or 3 more of these. All right, so you'll get really good at these, and eventually you'll just be able to whip them out really easily. Okay. Tips for filling out your writing. State the facts and add commentary. So again, state the facts, your given circumstances. Specifically, what time is it? And then, how do you feel about it? Okay. Specifically, what are your relationships? Relationships to your students. And how do I feel about it? Okay. If you make a statement, expand upon it. For example, don't just tell us you're not a morning person, but also tell us why you're not a morning person. Another trick is, I use this all the time, and Ask yourself and if you can't think of something to add. For example, it's 9 a.m. and I have to brush my teeth. And I always have to wait because someone else is usually in there. And when I wait, I look at the family pictures on the wall. And do you see what I mean? Make observations and judgments. This is something we've been talking about. Do you like? Do you hate? Do you notice, etc.? For example, I really hate waiting. I should probably get up earlier so I don't have to wait, but I like sleeping in more than I hate waiting. So again, there are statements in there, there's observations, judgments, etc. I did include in the lab notes on Blackboard a character sheet that puts all of this information onto one page. Okay, so over the weekend, you need to have this due by 10 a.m. on Monday so I can take a look at some of them and we can talk about them in class. Okay, thank you everyone.